The creek is dead. There's no doubt about it. You go step on rocks now, and there's oil that comes up out around the rocks. Dead newts, dead lizards, dead salamanders, dead fish, dead snakes, dead frogs, everything in that creek is dead.
Dead raccoons found at Beaver Creek today. That was on 2/15. Just yesterday. Afternoon. 4 p.m. It says no wounds, no blood. The water in Beaver Creek was contaminated by the runoff. So raccoons are just dropping dead. And everybody talking about an accidental train derailment and blaming the train company exclusively, I think are missing the plot. I think it goes much deeper than that. This was pre-planned, this was orchestrated, this was conniving. Look at where it happened. Look at the movie White Noise. Look at the waterways that run throughout the United States. This was an intentional poisoning of these people. All right, we have some big updates from East Palestine, Ohio. 2 weeks ago on the night of 2/3/2023, the big train crash happened, and hundreds of thousands of chemicals seeped out of these crashed train cars for 4 days. 10 days ago on 2/6, they blew up a lot of the chemicals, but animals are still dropping dead, and people are experiencing negative effects. Check out my first report for all the footage and all the photos, but here's just a little recap of the fiery inferno, and then finally on 2/6, the huge mushroom cloud of toxic smoke being released into the air. And here are some new photos that are being circulated from a passenger jet, showing this big plume of black toxic smoke amidst the normal clouds, the white clouds. Now, this is a very concerning development. There's a woman who says that her cat, her indoor cat, passed away due to complications possibly from this poisoning. And this is very important to remember. The United States was poisoned en masse. And I don't think this is accidental. We have to be very careful now that the mainstream media is stepping in of this story being hijacked and more people being victimized by the governmental response. I think that's where this is going. We should always be concerned when Fox News, CBS, ABC, BBC starts covering it. So my stance is that there are definitely a ton of victims who deserve justice. Not just in East Palestine, but all over the United States. The effects of this will be felt. But I think this is an intentional mass poisoning event. Intentional terrorism. And they'll spin it into climate taxes or more burdening of the shipping industry, which I don't think should be overburdened. I think this was an intentional act of mass poisoning. So if possible, it might not even be possible. We should try. But if possible, we should get to the culprits, the ultimate culprits. Because this was either purposeful or opportunistic. And I think this was purposeful. And the White Noise movie really seals the deal on that one, if there's any doubt. Like, that is so obvious that this was scripted. Exhibit A, the White Noise movie. Which we'll talk about in a second. I'm sure you've heard of it. And it's my belief, after studying a lot of these major events, that they had the solution all planned out, all mapped out, before the problem, before the attack. So it's very reminiscent of 9/11. It's very reminiscent of COVID. Remember, there were a lot of conservatives in the early days in 2019 of COVID saying, why won't the mainstream media cover this? So I worry that this disaster will be used in typical Hegelian dialectic fashion, problem, reaction, solution, to usher in more climate tyranny, making it harder for small businesses, and not actually getting justice. Because I think people should probably face the death penalty for what happened in Ohio. The problem is the people who planned this, the people who perpetrated this, will probably never face justice, will never face public scrutiny, because they'll be concealed behind corporations and governments, the legal code and the business code. I think almost certainly this was all planned out, with shell corporations ready to take the fall. But back to the lineup here, this is really sad. A woman says her cat Leo died after being exposed to the fumes. And this is an indoor cat. Here's a headline from WKBN.com. Indoor pet dies. Vet says could be due to chemical exposure. You think? So recently we've been seeing a number of videos popping up of the residents of East Palestine. And they are rightfully pissed off. A lot of us are pissed off. Now, they had a town hall meeting or something of the sort. A lot of people showed up enraged. Guess who didn't show up? The train company. We'll talk about that in a second, but basically they said, yeah, we're afraid we're going to get murdered. And I think people should face the death penalty for the mass poisoning of Ohioans, of Americans. The problem is, it's not going to be the right people. The problem is the establishment, the mainstream media, is hyping up this anger, this hatred. And then they're going to hijack it and direct it into their pre-planned direction. And it's not going to be in the people's interest. Just like after 9/11, everybody had their heartstrings pulled on. Everybody unified, came together. And then it culminated into a mass murder, a genocide in the Middle East. It culminated in trillions of dollars going to defense contractors, etc., etc. This is a really important speech here. This is a resident from East Palestine. Quote, the public health statement says that vinyl chloride in water or soil evaporates rapidly if it's near the surface. It's not going to be near the surface when it's over 1 million pounds in the ground. Listen to this.
It's because the public health statement here says that liquid vinyl chloride evaporates easily. Vinyl chloride in water or soil evaporates rapidly if it is near the surface. It's not going to be near the surface when it's over 1 million pounds in our ground, covered now and shaken down by a train going over it.
She's right. And it's seeping into the waterways that feed into many states downstream of the Ohio River. Look at this photo. Just a mess of this hillside. Black tarry-like goo running into this river. And this huge burn mark where the smoke, the toxic fumes, just turned to this hillside black. A lot of people are concerned and are reporting issues with their water. Here's somebody trying to boil their water to clean it. So the caption reads, boiling water won't help the people of East Palestine, Ohio. Wow. Here's another video concerning the water quality.
All right, so I am located in Weirton, West Virginia, which is about 40 miles south of East Palestine. I wanted to do something here. All I did was take water from the sink and boil it in the pot. And you can kind of see, like, it looks like oil on top of the water, like kind of flaky, just, I don't know, nasty. My boyfriend made tea a couple days ago. I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 days ago, I guess. And there's like all this flaky stuff. Here, let me see if we can see it a little better over here.
So that's really concerning. Dead raccoons found at Beaver Creek today. That was on 2/15. Just yesterday. Afternoon. 4 p.m. It says no wounds, no blood. The water in Beaver Creek was contaminated by the runoff. So raccoons are just dropping dead. Cats are dropping dead. Chickens dropping dead. This was an intentional poisoning of these people. And everybody talking about an accidental train derailment and blaming the train company exclusively, I think are missing the plot. I think it goes much deeper than that. This was pre-planned, this was orchestrated, this was conniving. Look at where it happened. Look at the movie White Noise. Look at the waterways that run throughout the United States. And the government's in on this. Now, it's hard to tell exactly who's responsible. Could it have been some third party causing the crash? Could the train company have been an inside job? It seems like the government's involved. And right now they're trying to evoke a response from people using reverse psychology, telling people, oh, the water's safe, you can drink it. Not sending in FEMA, not even addressing it. Pete Buttigieg the transport secretary, was in the news. Today he was saying, oh, there's 1,000 train derailments every year. This one's just getting a lot of attention, implying it's not a big deal. Now keep in mind, this is the same thing they did in the early days of COVID. Piss people off with a bad reaction. And then once people got outraged, then they stepped in and they gave us the most harsh lockdowns, the most harsh reactions, the vaccine mandates. So be careful what you wish for. And we need to be vigilant for this agenda being hijacked and the culprits using this to their own gain. But it's so sad, these raccoons just dying, presumably due to the toxic spill-off. And remember, the train crash was on 2/3. So this is 2 weeks after the train crash. Here are some more dead animals. This is 10 miles away. They're finding dead livestock. And here's a video of a woman with dead chickens.
So I walked up to the cage and this is what I found.
Amanda Brashears was going to feed her 5 hens and rooster this morning when she discovered them all lifeless, practically in the same position, with no signs of a predator entering their enclosure.
I'm beyond upset and quite panicked because they may be just chickens, but they're family.
Brashears says her chickens were alive and well yesterday. She believes the smell following the detonation of the train carrying chemicals that derailed in East Palestine is to blame for her birds' sudden death.
My video camera footage shows my chickens were perfectly fine before they started this burn. And as soon as they started the burn, my chickens slowed down and they died. If it can do this to chickens in one night, imagine what it's going to do to us in 20 years.
Wow. This is absolutely terrifying, especially considering the Ohio River Basin, feeding into the Mississippi River, and impacting many southern states. Now look at what people are finding when they drag the river. This man here has a stick, and he's going to run it through the base of the river.
Can you come here and let me just show this to people. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on the camera, but watch this. Just see that chemical pop out of the creek. This is disgusting. And the fact that we have not cleaned up the train crash, the fact that these chemicals are still seeping in the ground is an insult to the people who live in East Palestine. Do not forget these people. We got to keep applying pressure. That's how we're going to fix this problem. Thank you.
That is disgusting. No wonder all the fish are dying. No wonder the raccoons are dying. The cats, the chickens. Here's another video where you see a woman throw a big rock into the stream, and we see the same chemical sheen, the rainbow-colored sheen. Ew.
Wow.
Look at all that.
Look at it.
It's all in the bottom of the creek bed.
It's in the bottom of the creek bed.
Now look at it.
That is absolutely horrifying. Here's an independent reporter on the ground telling us about the air quality.
So I'm by the train tracks, roughly, I think where the spill happened, because it stinks out here. I tried to pull in here, and it says road closed. There's trucks over here. There's a bunch of trucks like blocking it. The trains, you see the trains crossing over there? There's a lot of people around here. When I tried to pull in here, where it says road closed, they didn't let me. They just waved me away. And it definitely smells over here. There it is. There's trains over, that's where the train's going. It smells weird over here for sure. And there's a lot of people down there. You see a lot of workers. I don't know if they're with the EPA or what. But that is definitely where the train is. And it stinks over here. And you see all these trucks over here. Not sure if they have anything to do with it. You got this guy over here with his home. He waved. Nice people. Nice people. They don't deserve to be nuked with toxic chemicals. This is crazy. There should be so much outrage everywhere about this. It's absurd, and it stinks out here. Like, man, people just don't deserve to get nuked with toxic chemicals.
It's outrageous. And intentional, I believe. Here's some more photos of the dead animals, the dead wildlife, piling up on the shores of these creeks and these rivers. Dead frogs, dead fish. So here's a resident at the town hall meeting, sounding off. Wow. That's powerful. So she can't get into her home, and they offered her some measly settlement. And she's speaking up for the people who are still sleeping in their homes, breathing this stuff in, and the children breathing this. Really, really sad. Here's another East Palestine resident talking about her plight.
I was in the 1 mile evacuation zone, and we have to clean our whole house and wash all of our clothes and stuff again. So we just need some supplies. We both missed a week of work. Our jobs were both shut down for a week. We had to stay at a hotel for 5 days. So we just need to get by until we get our reimbursements and get paid again.
Really, really sad what they're doing to these people. Okay, I saw this. This is concerning. Mental Health on Twitter says, these are the chemicals they are testing the air and the water for. In East Palestine, chloride turns into phosgene when burned. They burned 1 million pounds, which turned into phosgene. Why aren't they testing for phosgene? I don't see it on the list. And here are the chemicals they are supposedly testing for. So I'm no chemistry expert, but if this is the case, that seems like a huge omission. And probably purposefully omitted. Now this ridiculous official came out and said, oh, there's 3,500 dead fish. 3,500 dead fish? That's obviously a huge lowball. A massive understatement. Like they want to address that there's some number of fish that are dead. They know all these photos are piling up. I bet you they ask themselves, what's the lowest number that we can get away with saying? And I also honestly think they want to outrage people by not giving us the true information and by lying to us. It's going to make people even more angry. And then they're going to hijack the anger with their stupid government solutions. This is an impactful video. A young boy asks the town hall, how should us kids feel safe with the smell in the streets?
How should us kids feel safe with the smell in our street?
Alright, you will smell how we should feel.
So I'm not even going to listen to the EPA response. East Palestine is the new ground zero. Look at this video from just the other day. This was weeks after the crash. So I'm not sure actually when the date of this was. This might be just days after the crash. Here's an image that was sent to Status Quo News. Sink at workplace in East Palestine. Right next to the train explosion. Quote, the water is literally white and smells like wet dog. The worker felt sick when they were forced back to work the day after the explosion. That is gross. Now, a big scandal happened yesterday. The train company Norfolk Southern claimed that they were worried about being murdered, and so they didn't go to the meeting. Here's the full statement. Today we hoped to join local, state, and federal officials at a town hall to update the East Palestine community on the steps we are taking to thoroughly, responsibly, and safely clean up the accident site, and to provide the latest results from ongoing water and air testing. At the same time, we know that many are rightfully angry and frustrated right now. It says, unfortunately, after consulting with community leaders, we have become increasingly concerned about the growing physical threat to our employees and members of the community around this event. And then they say, stemming from the increasing likelihood of the participation of outside parties. With that in mind, Norfolk Southern will not be in attendance this meeting. Wow. So basically, they're insinuating that they're going to get murdered, and the people are right to be pissed off at them, but they're not going to bother showing up. So another part, obviously, is they might be concerned about the chemicals in the air, and this is just a cop-out, obviously. But I do think it's a red herring of sorts. I don't think it's just the train company to blame here. I think this was orchestrated, and we need to figure out who actually was responsible for this intentional attack on the Ohioan and American people. The train company is probably just some shell corporation that they can pawn off all the blame on and then bankrupt the company. So we can already see the politicians ready to politicize the situation. Here's a headline from Axios, which I think shows some indication of where this is going. As emergency crews continue to clean up the site, several lawmakers are pushing for answers about government oversight of the freight train system. That's going to help, right? The government ruining shipping? No, this was an intentional attack. Look where it happened. Look at the movie White Noise. Look at the waterways of the United States, the Mississippi River, the Ohio River. This was a carefully plotted, orchestrated attack on America. It was not accidental. And that's what I worry about the most. The mainstream news stepping in, trying to make it really seem like it was an accident. Like, oh, if we just had more regulation, if we just had more government involvement. No, I don't think that would help. I think the government is a party to this chemical weapon attack. And they're really trying to taunt us and piss us off with headlines like this. Columbus Dispatch says, East Palestine residents are now safe to drink village water, according to the Ohio EPA. Absolutely ridiculous. Ohio governor says municipal water in East Palestine safe to drink after train derailment. Janie Johnson says, how about the governor and his family go first? Rebel News is on the scene, and they're showing some footage of an upside-down American flag showing distress. That says the least. Here's some more opportunistic people ready to use this for their own political ends, as if this is going to help the people of Ohio who were just chemically attacked. Human Rights Watch. Look at this. So they talk about the Ohio train derailment and the chemical spill. And then they say, governments have a human rights obligation to rapidly phase out fossil fuels and reduce consumption of plastics. So is this the whole point of this attack? Keep in mind, these evil oligarchs are not above inflicting a bunch of pain and suffering on people to get their way. So don't assume this was an accidental train derailment. Remember, the people who perpetrated 9/11 are still sitting around sipping martinis planning their next acts of genocide. And this could be one of them. Now, it's very concerning to me to see ABC News picking up on this. A lot of people, I think, foolishly were demanding that the mainstream media cover this. How dare the mainstream media not spin this into their political ends? But they are sharing some sad stories from these truly victimized people. What are we supposed to shower in, he says. What are we supposed to use for washing our dishes? What are we supposed to use to feed our animals? So I want to be very clear. My heart goes out to all the victims. They deserve justice. The culprits need to pay. I think the death penalty is on the table if we can find out who really did this.
I've been sick with my upper congestion. This morning I woke up with my eyes swelled.
My kids, we're just running in to grab something, and then we're going back to Grandma's house because they keep breaking out in rashes.
Kids do?
Yeah.
I work by the rail track, and I have experienced headaches and coughing.
I try not to go outside because every time I go outside, my throat gets scratchy.
I have sore throat, headaches. My husband still has a headache.
So I'm by the train tracks. Roughly.
Wow. So really sad what's happening to these people. But it's never a good sign when Fox News starts covering something. Fox News is not our friend. All right, let's go to Citizen Free Press. This is pretty ridiculous. This is Ohio Department of Health Director Bruce Vanderhoff. who has no answers for the people of East Palestine. Outrageous. So this is really important from exposing the BS. I agree with this. The East Palestine train derailment was planned. Creepy Netflix movie aired in 2022 called White Noise, set in Ohio, about truck derailing train causing explosion and chemical release. So this was filmed in the same city. And it has a train crash with the chemical spill. I'm sure you've seen the clips. To me, this makes it pretty obvious that this was planned and orchestrated, and not an accident. Now here's a video that's going viral. This is an account called Addy Ads, who's been doing a great job interviewing the victims of this tragedy. Let's hear from this man on the scene.
Murphy, Ted Murphy, Mr. Murphy here. And what's your experience been like with this entire situation over the past couple weeks, sir?
Horrific. I'm evacuated out of my house before they pulled the evacuation because my 80-year-old mom lives with me. My house was engulfed in fumes. So I got her out, packed some clothes, and then Sunday I come back to get her insulin because we didn't grab her insulin. She needs it.
This past Sunday?
Yeah, no, Sunday before the implosion.
Oh, okay, okay.
And when I'd left to go back over, the fumes in town were nothing like they were on 170 coming out of that creek. I inhaled that air and I thought I was gonna freaking die. I thought I was gonna die. I almost wrecked my damn truck. The road looked like a wet ribbon.
Whoa.
You tell me I didn't suck something in. There wasn't shit in that creek.
And did you have to go to the hospital, or?
I went to the hospital a week later.
Oh, wow.
And I'm so stressed out about it that when I went into the hospital, as soon as they put a cuff on me to check my blood pressure, I had 3 doctors standing there, and they took me back and put an EKG on me and had a shocker sitting there ready because they thought I was going to have a damn heart attack.
Wow. Wow, I'm sorry about that.
It's got me stressed.
Yeah.
I'm not moving back into my house. I just got done doing all that work to the outside of it. It's 3 big city lots. I got a big ass yard. I got a bad ass yard.
And now you can't use it.
Now I'm leaving it.
Yeah.
Hopefully my landlord's good about everything because I'm renting it.
Wow. Wow.
I just bought all new appliances, new furniture, new beds. I made my mom a brand new home. Now I gotta leave.
Yeah.
Right, you know, it ain't right.
And
we just want honest answers.
Yes, sir.
The creek is dead. There's no doubt about it. You go step on rocks now, and there's oil that comes up out around the rocks. Dead newts, dead lizards, dead salamanders, dead fish, dead snakes, dead frogs, everything in that creek is dead.
Yeah, yeah, wow. And this fallout could last years even, people have been discussing. What do you think would be the best case scenario or resolution for everybody? And yeah, what do you hope to see?
I hope to see the environment clean. I hope to see a very small window of hazard. I don't want to see people coming down with cancers. I don't want to see children getting sick. But it's in this. It's going to be in the water. There is no doubt about it. It's going to be in the water. Not in my mind.
Yeah.
When you step on them rocks and oil's still coming out of it, there still ain't nothing in it. It takes a while to come back. Town hopefully will fare well. Where all that shit went to after it went up in the air, we have no idea. What goes up must come down. It don't leave our atmosphere. It gets blown into it. It doesn't leave. It doesn't leave.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And are you retired or are you?
I work. I
okay.
work.
And what do you do, if I can ask?
I'm a carpenter.
Okay. And is your work been affected as well?
Oh yeah, my mind's too occupied with worrying about everything.
Yeah.
Making sure my mom's taken care of.
Okay, great.
Just what are we gonna do? I gotta find somewhere to live. I gotta find somewhere to live. I got a couple weeks and boom, I got to find somewhere to live.
You guys are at a hotel now?
No, I'm staying at my sister's house in Nigby where all that pollution went down to.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So I
okay.
don't shower there. I don't drink water there. We don't do nothing with it there. We buy water.
Yeah.
We buy 5-gallon jugs. I just bought 200 gallons worth.
In light of people's jobs being affected, their houses being affected, their home values being affected, what do you think, if at all, what amount of money would be fair compensation for everybody? Or is it on an individual basis? Or
I
what
would
do you
think it'd be more of an individual basis.
Yeah.
Said and done. I'm not worried about money. I'm worried about my health. You know, I'm worried about all my nieces and nephews' health.
Yeah.
I'm worried about my daughter's grandchildren's health.
Yeah.
She can't even have the grandchildren in her house now. I can't have my grandson come. I don't want them in the area. My daughters don't live down here. I don't want my grandchildren down here.
Yeah.
Ain't no way. No way. My daughter was going to come down. I said, you do not come here. You don't come here. Because I don't know. I know I inhaled shit down there that was in that creek, and that creek was worse than this entire town. There's no way it wasn't. People have no idea. There was no noob screws down there. Nobody hung out on that creek. My partner that I do business with stayed there the entire time. I don't know how they did it. He put a charcoal filter in his living room, and he put one in his bedroom, and they covered their heads up with their pillows and a blanket and stayed underneath them for 3 hours.
Wow.
Wouldn't you leave?
I would have left.
I'd have left.
Yeah.
It's a shame. I don't know. I mean, a dollar value on something, there ain't no health. There's no value on your health that way. You know, I want to be here long enough to see my grandson grow.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's about the most important thing in my life. It's the only one I got.
Sure.
You know?
Definitely.
I want to know I'm going to be here. So tell me what the hell I breathed in. Tell me I have no problems from it, and I got the next 20 years of my life to be okay.
So this was the line outside of the East Palestine High School as people waited to get into this meeting, this town hall meeting. And here's inside the town hall meeting. You can see all the people.
The question is raised, why are people getting sick if there's nothing in the air and the water? And the animals.
I believe this is the mayor of the city. People and animals are getting sick. That's what they're talking about. So here's some photos from inside of this town hall meeting. Here's Tricia Mackey on Twitter. She says, the media surrounding the mayor of East Palestine, Ohio at a town hall Wednesday night. The odor at night near the crash site is strong, she says. Last night, same time, was equally bad. The EPA told me they don't have time to talk to me today. So here's another photo from the town hall meeting. You can see all the people in attendance. Here's a mother talking about her son's reaction to the chemical burn.
You said that you entered his room and he was shaking?
He was projectile vomiting across the floor out of nowhere. He was very confused. I mean, like he did wake up out of the middle of his sleep, but he was shaking. He was begging for water. He said he couldn't breathe. Yeah, it was scary. There's vomit on his floor right now because we ran out of there so fast that I didn't know if he was going to stop breathing. I didn't know what was going to happen. He had been hospitalized for asthma before, went from 0 to 60.
Addie also says dead animals found. We've been talking about that. The dead raccoons that we discussed earlier, the dead indoor cat, are really alarming sights, to say the least. So another clip here from Addie. This is about Randy, who's a local resident who is protesting the response.
Good. My name is Randy DeHaven.
Okay, there we go. It says stand up, speak up, ask questions, demand answers. And profit over people that poisoned the community. And why'd you do this, sir? Why'd you make this? And you standing out in this corner.
I have seen numerous posts online, people wanting to do something, you know, start standing up, and but everybody was afraid to come out.
Locally?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know why. I don't know if they're afraid of the consequences or just the comments on Facebook would be what I'm, you know, hearing, reading the most.
Facebook groups?
Yes.
Okay.
The East Palestine Facebook groups. So I've heard, hey, I'll come out here and start it. I'll be the first one out here. You know, if they want to come join, they're welcome to join. If I'm alone, I'm alone. I've been here since the night it happened. I've been covering it since the night it happened. I got footage of the night, the next day, and every day after.
Any fallout, smells, sickness?
Smells. I mean, this whole town smelled.
Yeah.
For days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the smell like?
It was kind of a sweet, metallic smell.
Oh.
And I guess that is a vinyl chloride smell when it discharges. So.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
I mean, the whole town smelled like that. Then they did that mandatory evacuation. They breached them 5 cars, vinyl chloride cars, which I think was unnecessary. And a lot of engineers and stuff, kind of backing me up on that. I think the reason they breached it was because it was the cheapest and fastest way to get the railroad back open again. Because if they had to recover all the product in that car, it probably would have took another, at least a week probably. So if they burn it all off, it's gone. They can move the cars, open the railroad back up again, and get traffic going.
By breach, you mean burn?
Yeah,
okay.
that controlled release they had.
I understand.
Big old smokes.
And you agree with the way they handled that in terms of the breach?
No.
Why is that?
I don't think it. From what I talked to, people I talked to that worked for the railroad, them blow-off valves are built, pretty heavy duty. And they are made to do what they're supposed to do. They they vent when pressure builds up. And tanks handle, depending on the tank, burst pressure of them things is usually 900 psi. A blow-off valve, pressure relief valve, is 275 psi's, or it can be as low as 75 psi's. I don't know what they were set at, but it was far from burst strength if that valve was still working. I want accountability. I want, tell the truth. They know what they did to this. Not even this town. It's the whole area. It's that plume cloud went everywhere when they burst that. So I mean, it was supposed to be within a 200-mile radius, is what I heard. It should have been, caution. Other than that, is that just truth? I mean, come out.
Yeah.
And give these people the truth. A lot of the press conferences was, what's the air quality? I don't know. I don't have that sheet in front of me.
What about, I lied, what about the movie? Have you seen that?
I have seen that movie.
You did? You watched it?
And that is very freaky.
Yeah, what's up with that? Do you have any thoughts? Like, that's so weird.
It was very freaky. Because I wasn't filmed too far away from here.
Yeah, there was actually some extras who were locals,
in this town,
right?
Yeah, in this town. Yeah, they did it. You figured it'd be a fun thing to do, be in a movie. And next thing you know, they're part of the movie, basically. So.
I really like the residents of this town, and shout out to this man here, Randy. Here's some more footage from Addy Ads on Twitter. And this is a really independent channel, so if you want to support them, they have a Buy Me a Coffee page that we should support people who are doing the real legwork, getting us the story. Let's watch this clip.
Like I said, I think everybody just wanted answers. That's what we want. I live in Negley, and my daughter lives right beside me. She's 3.5 miles from the wreck site. She had animals die. That creek runs right past her property that had the dead fish in it and all that. We just wanted answers. We want to know if it's safe. I have grandkids to worry about. Is it safe? What about all the farmers that have to till up their land and plant? Is that food going to be edible? What about the dairy farmers or whatever they're stopped grazing? Is that healthy for them? Is that 10 years down the road, is my grandkids going to have cancer from all this? There was definitely, it came over Negley. We had to evacuate.
And Negley's the town over?
Yes, it's just the next town over. And they're not really saying anything about doing anything for Negley because we're out of the evacuation zone. Well, we got the same stuff as everybody else did. We want to know, what our options are too. Like I said, we had to evacuate. My daughter had to evacuate almost 100 animals. She had animals die.
What kind of animals died?
Stepdaughter is sick with rash, sore throat, breathing.
Oh my goodness.
And she wasn't even in Palestine, East Palestine at all. She was never even came to East Palestine. That's where you had two roosters died. 2 roosters, 2 rabbits.
Do you want to come on? Or yeah. You said you had 2 roosters and 2 rabbits?
I had 2 roosters, 2 rabbits. I had 2 other sick birds, sick chickens. And now my potbelly pig is getting severe discharge from her nose, and she's starting to lose weight. And she was not evacuated. I could not catch her.
Oh my goodness.
I have over 100 animals, and I had to make hard decisions before they detonated. So I could only fit as many as I could on a trailer and we got out. The rest had to stay. I had to come back the next day because they took my hometown has been turned upside down and basically ripped to pieces. Yeah. And we just have to deal with it.
So the show out is more people than you thought would come.
Oh, way more.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people were upset, but this is a huge crowd. I mean, you know, this has disrupted our lives and not just overnight, not just a week. This is a lifetime situation. I mean, you read in Facebook, I just bought a house here last year. What do I do now? How unhappy would you be? Try selling your house now. And this is a prime example of, I think, a really small community.
I've
stand
never
together.
even seen this many people.
No,
in town.
ever. This is amazing. I think it's just absolutely amazing. That line is all the way up the end of the street.
Yeah.
We're not even going to try and get in because they have to go to school. I have to go away in the morning. So.
Okay.
But
okay.
I mean, to see this many people here, I mean, it's really, it makes you feel good because you know that all these people are fighting for what's right for all of us.
Definitely.
Where the spill was. They covered it up with gravel, get the trains running. Are they going to clean the soil up? That is our big concern.
Wow. My heart goes out to all these people. They didn't deserve this. And they do deserve accountability. They do deserve compensation. And not some measly amount. All of these affected people deserve a lot of compensation. And this includes, all throughout the waterways down to the Gulf Coast. It really pisses me off. And we need to find out who was actually responsible for this, because this was planned. Look at the movie White Noise. This was purposefully done at a zone where it would seep into waterways that affect much of the United States. And the government's telling us it's safe. So the government's not going to investigate it. This is a cover-up. And what they're going to do, though, is once people get angry enough, with righteous indignation, is they're going to turn and hijack the story and turn the screws down even more on our freedom and our prosperity, or lack thereof. So this is absolutely devastating. The health impacts of this are immense. I don't think this was accidental. They want people to think, oh, they're pretending it's safe, but this was a devastating accident. No, you have to go a little bit further than that. They're taunting you, pissing you off by saying it's safe, and hoping you'll go to the controlled narrative of this was an accident, when this was a purposeful attack. All signs point to a purposeful attack on the people of Ohio, specifically East Palestine, but also all the waterways. This is disgusting. I'm so pissed off. And worse still, what pisses me off even more is how I know that this huge event is going to be weaponized against humanity. They'll pass ridiculous new legislation. It'll probably end up even more ruining small businesses with overbearing regulation, taxation, etc. It'll probably raise the price of shipping, all the new regulation that they'll impose on these companies. And I think that's a big aspect of this. I think they're trying to tear down the supply chain and the infrastructure for shipping things around. They want these 15-minute cities. They want people to starve and to become enslaved. Absolutely pisses me off, and we're seeing animals just drop dead now. Absolutely tragic. So I wanted to put this update out there. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching.